Hello and welcome back to my channel. On today's Top 7 series, I'm going to talk about my top 7 flight or long haul flight, either one actually would work, travel tips. So my top 7 airplane travel tips. Number 1. So definitely my number 1 travel tip is to be comfortable. My number 1 airplane travel tip is wear comfortable clothing. No matter how long your flight is, I would rather feel comfortable than look great. I'm not saying to wear pajamas, but if you're on a long haul flight, you can pack pajamas and change into them in the bathroom or the lavatory. Wear comfortable clothing. So what that means is stretchy clothing, clothing that can keep you warm and cool. You don't want too thick of clothing, so definitely not blue jeans, unless they're like leggings for women or like a fake looking blue jean, more of like a sweatpants for men, really like a jogger for men. I'm actually looking to buy a pair right now that I think will do the trick. You don't want them too baggy or too tight, but you want them breathable and kind of warm. It's kind of a fine balance. I normally wear shorts on a flight, but on my upcoming Dubai flight, it's going to be over 13 hours. And I don't think shorts are going to cut it. I think my legs will get cold. So I'm definitely going to wear jogger pants, I'm pretty sure. Also with comfortable clothing and to feel comfortable, I recommend, of course, that you wear the compression socks. Higher end compression socks. Especially for long flights. Anything over 3 hours, I would say, is a long flight to me. Compression socks, of course, help with the old blood clot issue, circulation issue, but on a very long flight too, your legs and feet can become swollen just from sitting in that position and from drinking salty or eating salty liquids, sodas, salty soups, all the chips and pretzels. So compression socks for comfort and for actual physical well-being. Also, as silly as it sounds, wear layers. Even if you're going to a hot place, you never know how cold the plane's going to be. It can be hot, it can be cold, but I would wear a t-shirt and then like a thin hoodie. Of course, on a long flight, you're going to get a blanket and a pillow. That's going to help you somewhat, but wear layers. That's part of the comfort. You can always remove things, but it's hard to find things if you packed your jacket or you didn't pack one at all. I would bring a hoodie also. Tip number 2. This also plays along with dressing comfortable. Wear clothes that are security checkpoint friendly. So of course you don't want to wear like steel-toed boots or shoes. You don't want to wear belts and tight clothing. You may want to look great going through security, but all that stuff, I would wear comfortable clothes, stretchy clothes without a belt, shoes that are easy to take on and off. I usually wear flip-flops or comfy shoes that I can kick on and off. You want to be able to move through the security point seamlessly and comfortably, and not have to worry about wearing all this stuff or putting it back on. Boots, shoes, laces, belts, all of it. You don't want to wear a lot of jewelry and things that you'll have to take off, big watches, just all that stuff. Just make it easier. That's part of your comfort. Security checkpoints can be stressful already. Why complicate it? Tip number 3. Picking your seat. Seats are all different. Even if they're in the same category, they can be different. There could be an electronic panel or something on the side if you're by the window that limits some leg room. This seat may not have a window, and maybe you want a window, you bought a window, but the window's in a weird spot, so it's kind of like behind you. I recommend going to the free website seatguru.com, and they have reviews from customers as well as the layout for your flight, so you can just punch in your flight and then see all the available seats and then kind of the story behind those seats. Whether there's outlets, if they're comfortable, good location, leg room, all that kind of thing. It's a great site when picking your seat. Seat comfortability and seat location is very important to a lot of people, including myself, if you want to get on or get off the plane quick. As far as being close to the lavatory, or maybe you don't want to be close to the lavatory, I always prefer to pick an aisle seat. I love the aisle seat. I can get in and out easy. I also can sneak a little more leg room to one of my legs, my right leg or my left leg, I guess, depending on where I'm at, and kind of sneak it into the aisle and just kind of move it as people are walking by. But I highly recommend Seat Guru to pick your seats. Also, along those lines, some tips when traveling alone. If you want to risk getting the whole row to yourself, I recommend reserving the middle seat in a row. Most likely when people are buying seats online or requesting seats through their booking phone numbers and stuff. They're not going to pick a seat when somebody's already sitting in the middle because it's just kind of weird. Usually people go straight to the aisle or the window in an empty row. So go ahead and pick the middle and risk it. Most likely only one other person or maybe nobody will show up. Then you have the whole row and can also slide over to the other available seat if only one other person shows up. Also, some airlines still have a row 13. Most airlines don't, but if you do see a row 13, pick a seat, a middle seat in row 13. Most likely, because of superstition, a lot of cultures believe 13 to be an unlucky number. No one will pick the other seats there. Another tip when traveling with two people, what my wife and I do, we usually I'll pick the aisle and she'll pick the window in an empty row of 3. So that'll leave the middle seat open. And most likely when somebody is booking, they're not going to pick the middle seat between two people that they don't know. If it is a sold out flight, all that stuff is kind of thrown out the window. Of course, you can ask to switch with the person if you're traveling with two people, or maybe request a different seat. But it's kind of a risk, but that's just a little tip we do when we want to have a whole row to ourselves. We pick the aisle and the window, leave the middle one available, and usually nobody picks it unless it's a sold out flight. Tip number 4. This goes back to, of course, being comfortable on the flight. We've got our comfortable clothes, so now we need to worry about what do we need to bring to be comfortable during especially a long flight. You definitely need, as far as toiletries, you need something to freshen up with. A lot of flights don't have showers, or you can't afford to use them because they're only in first class or business class for the long distance. But definitely a body wipe or like a disposable wipe, something that has a wetness to it that you can wipe yourself down, even at your seat if you're comfortable, or you can go into the lavatory and quickly freshen up after it's been a few hours or right before you land, just to feel refreshed. Definitely, wiping out these kind of areas and then reapplying your deodorant. I highly recommend that just to feel fresh. As far as also brushing your teeth, if you're going to be on a flight for more than a couple hours, you need to maintain your normal hygiene routine just in a travel size way. So of course your toothpaste and toothbrush, you need to freshen up that way as well, just to feel good, not even for other people, but just so you don't feel gross. You can get pretty grimy up there just sitting for hours. The air is also dry, so even though you feel dirty, the air is very dry. But along with that, you need chapstick. My lips are dry right now probably. But you need chapstick, you're going to need lotion, and whatever you normally need maybe in a winter day, I would recommend bringing a little bit of that so you can have it for your hands and areas of your body that are susceptible to dry air. Also, you're going to need to drink plenty of water. All the other drinks they are going to offer you are going to just take water out of your body. The diuretics, the coffees, the sodas, the sugary drinks, even though they're tempting and you may get it, I would also drink water with all that. I tend to get headaches on long flights, and I know it's because my water intake versus everything else I'm putting into my body is not there. I also recommend using with your water an electrolyte towards the end of the flight. So say even though it's cold or colder and maybe you're not sweating, hopefully you're not sweating because that's happened to me a few times where it's just so hot on a plane, but you may not see that you are losing water even though you may not be using the restroom as much. So you need to replenish those electrolytes in that water. I recommend just the powder electrolytes, anyone, Gatorade, all the companies, they sell them. Put whatever you like, and towards the end of your flight, hopefully you have a bottle of water and you can just put it in there and shake it up, and there you go. Replenish that so that as you wake up or get ready to get off, you have that electrolytes balance back in your body and you're able to move around and feel less fatigued. Also, a thing I like to do is pack chewing gum. That can also help with keeping you feel fresh, as well as your ears popping with the pressure changes. Chewing gum is sometimes hard to find or it's overpriced at the airport, so definitely pack your favorite. I like the hard kinds, not the sticks, but the hard kinds, maybe a little jar of it. The Mentos make a good one that I really like. I recommend taking that in your carry-on, even if you have to put it in a Ziploc bag so it just fits in there better. Definitely chewing gum is one of my favorite things to pack on the flight to feel comfortable. Of course, if you're going to sleep on a plane, you are going to need a sleep mask. You may not think it, and it may be dark on the plane, but somebody either in front of you, to the next of you, or even in your own row is going to leave their light on or the window up when you're trying to sleep. And it is their right to do that. It's their time too. You're going to need a travel mask, a sleep mask, even though maybe you don't normally need one. I always bring one, and you may look ridiculous, but you're going to definitely get sleep. Along with those lines, if you can afford them or have them, noise canceling earbuds or over the ear phones, or if you just want earplugs if you don't want to listen to anything. I recommend those. Those will help you drown out a lot of that ambient noise, the people getting up or going clearing their throat, the people opening or crunching bottles or opening bags of chips and talking, TVs, everything. I've even had a plane where someone was listening to music and it was so loud I could hear it, but it was in their earbuds or earphones. It was so loud, and just that kind of thing, you don't want to complain. Just have your own noise canceling stuff or things you can drown out the noise with. I highly recommend it. Of course, most people say to take melatonin when you want to sleep on a plane, and that's part of the things. I never pack it. I don't use melatonin. I've tried it before. I usually don't have a hard time sleeping if I haven't overdone caffeine or I'm not super excited and it's cool environment. I can't sleep if it's really hot. Of course, you can do the melatonin and all that stuff. I don't take anything because I really don't think melatonin works for me, and I hear everybody say that, so I'm not really going to tell you. But if you do take it at home to sleep, bring it with you on the plane. I think that was tip number 4. Tip number 5. I recommend before a flight, you set your alarm. So you can only check into a flight online 24 to 48 hours prior to the flight taking off, or you have to risk waiting to get to the airport, checking in the long lines, and then you're not going to be one of the first people on the plane. Set an alarm, whatever the time is, 24 hours prior. So that time frame, set an alarm, get up, complete your online check-in online as early as possible. This will guarantee you one of the first options to get on the plane. You may even be one of the first people on the plane. This is very important if you have a carry-on luggage or things you're going to have to stow in the overhead space if you want them near you. If you don't, however, get on early and there's no overhead space above you, when you get to your seat, try to drop it off as you're going to your seat. You're going to know if it looks full. If you see a spot, grab it. So at least when you sit down, it's in front of you and you can monitor it you think someone's going to go in it, and that way as you're getting off the plane you can grab it as you're walking out, not having to go backwards trying to get it behind you. Check in online as soon as possible. You'll get a better boarding time. What's great about that is usually you can skip the check-in at the airport and go straight to the baggage drop-off. 100% game changer right there. If you have anything to check, drop it off and one less thing in your hand, and you don't have to wait in line. Set an alarm. Tip number 6. And this is kind of with the luggage again, of course. Keep track of your luggage. Another thing, what I recommend is writing on a piece of paper or a card and putting it in your check bag, even your carry-on bag. What if you lose that too? Putting like contact card information, whether it's just your phone number and email, or if you're comfortable with your full address, and write your name and say, this is my luggage, if lost, please contact me here. Make sure and include the 1, that's the USA code, so if it's international, they know it's a US number. That way, if the card or the thing hanging on the outside of the bag goes missing, there's contact information inside. You can also use air tags, which we've just started using that last couple of months in our travels when we check bags. It definitely is a game changer, and it's at least ease of mind because you can monitor your bag as it moves from bag drop off. You can see it's on the plane. Also, a lot of the plane apps nowadays will also track your bag. As it's on the plane, you will get an alert if you have it set up, or you can log in and check it. This way your bag won't go missing. These are the things we use. I highly recommend it, and it's one less thing on your mind to worry about. Even if everything goes right, it's not in the back of your head during the flight. Is my bag on the plane? What if it goes missing? Oh crap, what if the tag fell off? How are they going to find me? Bags go missing. Along those lines, also research your lost bag policies on your planes and know your rights. You are entitled to compensation depending on the airline and the type of luggage, of course, and the time frame in which you report it. So know that before you leave, in case it happens. Plan for the worst, expect the best. My tip number 7. Now this tip is very important, and the lazy me doesn't like to do this, but especially when flying international to another country that you're going to spend some time in, you need to have everything printed out. Even if everything's online, you have your e-tickets, everything, your lodging info is all saved. Make sure you print it out a hard copy. A lot of customs in different countries want to see your return boarding pass and your proof of lodging while you're there before they even let you step foot in that country. It's very important. Sometimes they're not going to help you print it. Some countries will let you use your phone or other digital service, but what if your phone's not working also? What if you didn't set it up? It's very important to print out proof of return flight as well as proof of lodging or who you're going to stay with if it's family. Give them their address, maybe even their name and phone, just so they can corroborate that. Countries, including America, don't want visitors coming in with no plans, because that's usually how you end up getting stuck there. It happened. Make sure you have everything you can printed. Keep it someplace accessible, but not where it can fall out. I usually use the front of my backpack, put it right there with my passport and all that other stuff, my wallet. I don't usually wear my wallet because it's not good to sit on it, and I keep my bag with me. So all my stuff's in there in that front pocket. So this is kind of a longer one, so I'm gonna say 7.5, or maybe I actually only did 6. So let's do 7.5. Very important along the lines too with the last one, so I'll just add it with number 7. With everything printed, make sure you bring all your electronic devices and your battery backups. A lot of flights do claim they have power solutions available, places to plug in this kind of stuff or this kind of stuff, the USB, but sometimes they're not working, or sometimes they don't have them. It's an older flight. Sometimes you will get an older plane and pay a lot of money for that ticket. It's happened to us. Bring a battery backup as part of your electronics. I highly recommend this. This one's a little heavy, but it can fit in your bag. You can put it in the pocket in front of you, charge your device. It has supposedly 20, I think that's what that means, 20 hours. You can do multiple devices. I highly recommend a battery backup. And just bring all your electronics, all your cases, your hard drives if you use that, everything. Bring everything with you. Your laptop. Make sure and pack your laptop, everybody. Of course, your phone. I bring my portable mouse. It's real slim. Just bring make sure because you're gonna need that, especially on a long flight. I don't know how many times I relied on, not that many really, I'm dramatic, but I've relied on the power solutions to be available on the flight, in the plane, during the flight, and them not working or only one's working. So it's kind of like, also, with that note, when you're flying international, you may need a power adapter. Usually nowadays that's not the case, especially if they have a USB option, but you may need a power adapter. So look into the country that you're going to and make sure you get whatever power adapter that they would use, because most likely that plane will have that. Or if it's a European-based plane company, make sure and look at what European stuff would be. You're gonna need the power adapter anyway once you get off the plane, most likely. So why not have it just in case you need it for the flight. Anyway, that seems like it's it. I have a feeling I missed a number. I don't know. Maybe I didn't. This was my top 7 flight or airplane travel tips, especially for long travel. My number one thing though is don't be be prepared, but don't overpack. Be over prepared, but do not overpack. I'm gonna leave you with that. It's hard to do that. There's a balance. Find it. Definitely, these 7 things are very important though. You're comfortable, your security, make sure your travel documents, everything you need electronic wise. Just make sure you have everything you need on a daily basis to survive, minus your house and everything in your closet. That's where you can pack less of your clothing. Believe it or not, you will survive. Make sure the important things come with. Anyway, if you have great travel tips you want to add, comment down below and share them. Or comment if you want me to research further on something. Let me know any travel concern or tip you have. Look out, hey, I'm going to Dubai soon and I'm going to need some travel tips on that long flight. So share them down below. Thank you so much for watching and stay tuned. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. If you can, go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe to see more. Bye.